Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your personal transformation strategist, Shauna-Kaye speaking. And this morning, I want to speak to you about the different things that happen in your life and to remind you that none of these things happen by accident. Sometimes we have experiences and we think that because they're unfortunate or because we don't agree with them, because they affect us in some type of negative way, that these things happen by accident. And so we are not able to adjust our minds to the possibility of learning a thing or two from those situations. So my duty here this morning is to remind you that everything that happens in your life happens for a reason, as they say, and that it is part and parcel of the divine order of how things should be, irrespective of how negative those things may seem, irrespective of the implications of those things. These things happen for a reason. There are no accidents, and you can learn something from every single experience that you have. Hence the topic for this morning, which is that everything that happens in your life presents a teachable moment for you. That's what we want to talk about this morning. I am going to share with you 3 quick points that basically establish my perspective on the matter. Feel free to share the broadcast, and if you're not yet a member of the Facebook group Manifest Your Greatness Now, know that you are more than welcome to join. So again, if you're just coming on, I am sharing with you guys that everything that happens in your life is part and parcel of that divine order, and in fact present within it a teachable moment. There's the opportunity for you to learn from every circumstance that you experience. It doesn't matter how negative the implications are, you can learn something from them. And I'm talking about this transcending every area of our lives, whether it is relationships or just you going outside the door and falling down, God forbid, or something that you deem negative. It is meant to teach you something. Perhaps as trivial as it may sound, you falling down is just an indication to you that you need to be more careful when you're walking. Or even more superficial than that, that you probably need different shoes because you notice that every time you wear a certain type of shoe, you're falling over yourself. And of course, there are a plethora of other possible lessons that you could get from that one scenario. But there are a myriad of different scenarios that we experience on a daily basis. And it is my position that all of these are there to teach us something in one way or another. One of the things that Dr. Dyer said, and he's now deceased for those of you who don't know, one of the things that he said is that no matter how you try, you cannot have a better past. So don't spend your time having some kind of anger or angst over your past just because you didn't like it or you feel like that past affects you in such a way that you're unable to move forward. Like Dr. Dyer said, you cannot have a better past, but what you can do is that you can use your past to inform your future. You can use your past to help you to avoid certain pitfalls, and we have talked about this many times. So this is just a reminder to you that even those negative things that you experienced in the past, and I'm talking about things that span a whole gamut of different areas. Recently, I have noticed some videos circulating on social media, and one of them is of a mother in Jamaica beating her little girl. The little girl is probably not older than 6. She looks like she's between the ages of 4 and 6 years old. And that woman is beating the child mercilessly. I wish I could reach through the phone and grab her and just try to understand why she felt the need to beat this baby. I don't know what that child could have done so wrong. The mother said that the child was misbehaving in school and she wanted her to focus on her lessons. And that in and of itself is a good lesson to teach your child. But in the situation, I didn't understand what the child could have done for her to beat her that way. But I submit to you that there is something that that mother is experiencing or has experienced in her past that led her to do this. Many of those people, many of us, mothers or non-mothers, we have had some experiences in our past that if we don't allow ourselves to move past those experiences, we cannot achieve that higher greatness that is within us. And maybe that mother, as a child, she was beaten in the same way, or maybe there is something in her past where she was abused in one way or another, and she does not know how to express herself in relation to her child than to beat her senseless. And I'm not saying that the way she was beating the child is acceptable. I am all for you disciplining your child, but not abusing them. And that looked to me like it was abuse. In fact, it is not for me to judge whether or not it was abuse, but more so it was how it affected me, seeing that little girl just giving up and lying down and just taking it like that. But it is my position that there is something that the mother is either experiencing now or has experienced in the past that she cannot let go of. She has allowed those emotions to overcome and overwhelm her, so that she is abusing her own child, as it appears. So the point I'm making is that you cannot change the past that you have had, but don't allow that past to have such a power over your present life right now that you're unable to reach that higher self, that you're unable to fulfill the purpose for which you came here. And Dr. Dyer also said that we serve one single purpose. That's why we're all here, and that is to love and be loved. And essentially what he's saying is that everything else that we could ever desire is caught in love. Love for ourselves and love for other people. Because it is in loving other people that you can truly express yourself at the highest point. It is in loving other people that you can reach your zenith. And it is in giving love that you will receive love. Maybe not from the same persons, but from other people. Because as Florence Scovel-Shinn says, in the game of life, it's essentially about giving and receiving. So when you give love, you will get love. The other point that I want to raise is something that is, it may appear very pedantic, but it's also a very common phrase that you come across on social media, on the internet, and just in your regular conversation on a day-to-day basis. And that is the whole idea of judging other people. And I myself am definitely guilty of that, but I'm working on myself every day. And I am submitting that we need to check ourselves. Every time we feel the need to judge someone, we need to really appreciate what that is essentially representing. One of the things that Dr. Dyer says is that when you judge other people, this is really not a definition of who those people are. Your judgment may be wrong. Your judgment may appear from a fallacious basis. It may be that you don't have all the information, and so you're making your judgment from a position that is not informed. But the point is that at no point in time should you feel the need to judge other people. And like Dr. Dyer says, when you judge other people, it is not an indication of who the person is. It is not an indication of who those persons are. You're not essentially defining them. But what you're doing is defining yourself. And that is, you're presenting to the world that you're a person who feels the need to judge. So it says more about you than the people that you're judging, because like I said, you judging those persons is no way for you to say that for sure that you're defining accurately who these people are. But because you're overcome with whatever emotion at the time, whether it is anger or disapproval or angst, you feel the need to judge other people, not realizing that that says more about you than it says about the other person. So again, with the idea in the back of your mind that every experience that you have, that everything that you're going through right now is there to teach you something, that nothing in life happens by accident, you will also realize that as an extension to that argument, how you act and how you treat other people says more about who you are as an individual. And like I said just now, if you feel the need to judge other people, you're not essentially defining those persons actually, but you're saying to the world that this is who I am. I'm a person who feels the need to judge other people. So my final point is really establishing at what point in time do you actually win in life. So you win in life when you grasp at every opportunity to learn. And again, that is in you understanding that every experience that you have in life, even if they're negative ones, they're there to teach you something. Either something about you, or the people around you, or your environment. They're there to teach you something. And the sooner you realize that, is the sooner you can get on that trajectory to greatness. And essentially, you can only teach someone something that's going to affect them in a positive way when you have truly learned. You teach when you have knowledge. And you will realize that some people, even people with knowledge, still are not proficient at imparting that knowledge. So let alone those persons who don't have knowledge because they have not taken the opportunities presented to them to learn. How can you teach anyone anything? I consider myself a teacher because I know I'm a teacher. Not because I know more than you, but because I understand that we're all here as teachers in our own right. Everybody you come across, every circumstance that you experience, are there to teach you something. Even the baby is there to teach you something. Because when a mother has a child, they call it a motherly instinct. Even before that baby starts talking, after a while, if that mother is actually able to bond with her child, then certain cries will indicate to her what the child needs, even though the child is not able to speak and voice what it is that's bothering them. That's called the motherly instinct. So she learns from her child by understanding that a whimper may mean that the child needs some attention, or that the child's diaper needs to be changed, or that the child is hungry. And she is able to differentiate between the different sounds. The same way how, as a child, your mother may be in a room with 10 or 15 other women, and they're all talking and laughing, and some way, somehow, you're able to distinguish the voice of your mother amongst the myriad of different sounds that are coming from that room. So I'm saying that everyone can teach you something. The small child, the old lady, the old man, the teenager, it doesn't matter who the person is, they can teach you something. And so today and for the rest of the week when you go outside, try to check yourself, and I will do the same too, because nobody is perfect. We will all at some point in time slip backwards, but as long as we realize that and we are focused on getting better, then over time we'll be able to master certain things. When you go out today and even for the rest of the week, just tell yourself, just go over in your mind, love. Just say love. And even if someone angers you, just stop and count to 10 in your mind. And just try to ask yourself this one question. What am I supposed to learn from this situation? Or what is this person trying to teach me? Just try that. I have tried it too. Even if you feel as though you are short-tempered or ill-tempered, as some people say, just stop. Just pause for a minute and be still. And just internalize what's happening and ask yourself this one question. What is this person trying to teach me? Or what am I expected to learn from this situation? I thank you all for joining me this morning for the Monday Mindset Motivation. I hope this will help you to have a more positive week and specifically a more positive day. Every Monday morning we convene sometime between the hours of 6:30 a.m. and 7 a.m. Eastern Time to just inspire everyone, to empower you, and to help you to start your day on a positive path, on a positive note. We're all experiencing different things. We're all at different levels in our lives, and sometimes it's very difficult for us to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it even turns on your perspective of what constitutes a tunnel. And some people are just not at that point where they can see beyond the moment that they're experiencing right now. So I'm happy to share with you, to remind you that even in the most destitute of circumstances, as long as you believe that there is a higher power operating outside of you, then you will also understand that some way, somehow, if you're meant to, you will get out of it. And the other thing is that even those destitute circumstances are there to teach you something. Maybe they're there to teach you to be kind when you get to a point where you are no longer experiencing those particular circumstances. Like for me, I've often alluded to the fact that I came from what could easily be deemed as abject poverty. And growing up, I knew what it was to want from the most basic amenities to more superficial things, like having a TV. I wanted that as a child. I grew up without that. All the way finishing high school, none of that was in my house because I didn't even have electricity. But what that has taught me, amongst other things, is that now that I'm at a point where those things are second nature and those things are not even the things that are important, I realize the need to be kind to other people. I realize my role and my responsibility to help those who do not have, because I know what it feels like to go without, and I understand the impact that that will have on everybody, especially young children or persons who are in some way or another disabled. So the point is that no matter how ill your circumstances, no matter how negative your past has impacted you, they were there to teach you something, and you can use that knowledge that you have acquired to positively impact someone else and also to make informed decisions going forward. So, the year is winding down. Today's the 20th of November, so we have another 10 days remaining in this month, and then another month after that remaining in 2017. As you wind down, I invite you even right now to reflect on the kind of year that you have had. Was it a tumultuous one? Was it a year filled with angst and anxiety and a lot of negative emotion? Was it a year filled with accomplishments, or the converse, which is one in which you set out with all these big goals, but you have not accomplished them, or most of them you have not accomplished? No matter what kind of year it was, remember that you are now close to the end of it, and you cannot get back the almost 11 months that have already passed. But what you can do is that you can use those months to inform you as you go forward. Next month, I will be sharing with you my ebook on goal setting, and I hope to walk with you as you go through the process of setting your goals for 2018 and beyond. I don't want you to construe those goals as New Year's resolutions or anything that trivial, but I want you to think of these as long-term goals that you truly can see manifesting in your life. And I want you to adjust your mind to the need and necessity for you to take massive action going forward. I want to be there to help you as you go into the new year, to remind you that even if you have not accomplished what you had set out to at the beginning of 2017, it's not too late, and everything happens in the right time. Things happen according to a divine order of how they should, and maybe there are a thing or two that you needed to learn before you accomplish those goals that you had set. So don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your goal. Hold fast to the view and the reality that you have greatness within you, and you have the ability to manifest that greatness. I wish for you a great day and a great week. Happy Thanksgiving for those persons who celebrate Thanksgiving, and God bless you all. Thank you so much for listening.